I'm just gonna cut to the chase, this show sucks. It's not nearly as bad as some of the other things I reviewed, but in a way, it just pains me more. I mentioned this before, but if it wasn't for Bluey, nobody would be watching Disney Junior, because their modern shows range from somewhat decent to absolutely terrible. Spidey and His Amazing Friends remains the worst show they've ever made. Firebuds just exists. Ariel is a huge disappointment. Super Kitties started out pretty decent, but now, it too is a snorefest. The only show besides Bluey that I consider even slightly good is Kindergarten the Musical, but even then, it's still just a 6 out of 10. No thought, and no effort was put into any of these shows, and it's so infuriating. Disney Junior was never really my favorite channel as a kid, but it still had some pretty good shows like PJ Masks, The Lion Guard, Elena of Avalor, and Sophia the First. But nowadays, they just like to play it safe with reused concepts, boring characters, and generic CGI animation. And RoboGobo is no different, so let's talk about it. The show is about a boy named Dax, who adopts a bunch of pets and turns them into superheroes, and they use their abilities to rescue pets. When I heard that plot description, I immediately knew what I was in for, a Paw Patrol clone. I swear, Paw Patrol and PJ Masks have pretty much become blueprints for kid shows. It's a very simple formula. Cute animals plus superhero suits plus 3D animation equals success. Now take a look at the animation. Notice anything about it? Yeah, it looks exactly like Ariel, which looks like Firebuds, which looks like Super Kitties. See what I mean? Look, I know 3D animation is seen as more affordable and easier to use, but did they really have to make all their shows look the exact same? And no, 3D animation is not easier than 2D. Trust me, I've tried to use 3D in the past, and it was so frustrating. So that's why I stick to 2D for my animated projects like Mushroomania. I don't normally like to plug Mushroomania in my reviews, but yeah, go ahead and watch it, it's so much better than this garbage. Okay, but animation is one thing, maybe the characters are enjoyable. No, they all suck, and they have no personality whatsoever. But out of all of them, Dax is probably the worst. He has the least amount of personality out of everyone in the cast, and that's a stiff competition. Not only that, but he has no flaws that make him believable or relatable. And if you're a recurring subscriber, you know that I absolutely hate characters who are just unrealistically flawless. He's just like Ryder from Paw Patrol, all he does is lead the team, and rarely ever takes part in the mission, while learning little to no lessons whatsoever. What about the villains? Nope, they suck too. I could describe each of their personalities in less than 7 words, watch. Gimme Pig is greedy, Monkey Wrench likes to make people mad, Pupsicle likes to freeze things, the Slink is cocky. These are some of the most uninteresting, boring characters Disney Junior has ever made. And given their current lineup, that's saying a lot. These guys are not characters, they're merchandise. RoboGobo is nothing but a generic good versus evil story. But unlike Kia and the Kimoha Heroes, Super Kitties, and even Action Pack, which gives the villains some depth, these guys are just one-dimensional caricatures. Well, is there anything I liked about this show? Well, yes, there is one thing in the show that I actually do like, the music. I'll give Disney Junior this. Even with their bland lineup of shows, they are really good at making songs. Seriously, is this where all the effort goes, to the music? The songs in these shows are really catchy and upbeat, and I sometimes end up humming them in my head, and this show is no exception. Even when they release bland and uninspired shows, you can always count on the music to make the experience at least a little watchable. Overall, RoboGobo is just another bland, uninspired Disney Junior show. In fact, it doesn't even fail in its own, unique way. At least with some of the other shows I reviewed, they have something unique about them. If you've seen Paw Patrol, PJ Masks, Firebuds, or literally any other superhero kids show, you've seen RoboGobo. Will Disney Junior bounce back someday? Yeah, I genuinely doubt it. But anyways, that's it for this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what you think of this show in the comments. And until next time, party on. Hey guys, while I was editing this video, I decided to watch the most recent episode, and I found something worth addressing. Apparently, the episode reveals that Dax doesn't have a right arm, hence why he wears that robo glove. I guess it's kind of interesting that they added this, but I'm sorry, I just don't care. Having characters with disabilities is great, but they don't really do anything with it. Dax has the same problem as Ice Cub from PJ Masks. Having a disability alone isn't enough to automatically make a character interesting, especially if the character doesn't have any personality to make them stand out. What doesn't help is that we never get to see him struggle with it. I'm not saying disabilities should be seen as a flaw, but it would be nice to see how it affects him. Okay, that's the end of the video, for real this time.